Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahushai, Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahushai, Barak to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rukwakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles, great Mr. and rule well, and to the Akim around the folk, and to the earth, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Yeah, so Amalek is at it again, man. That's what I gotta say, man. Amalek is at it again. Yeah, so they finally, play their hand to block Iranian websites from publishing their content online. You know what? And, how you say it, they seize their internet domains. And, you know how that is, man. That's basically, silencing their voice from reaching the audiences around the whole world. And it just shows you that Amalek and Elam are at war, man. All right, and they had to use the United States to do it because Amalek has basically pushed themselves into all these high positions in the U.S. government. And what can you expect but war? So their goal is to get America tied in with Iran and Russia and China. And they're going to push and push and push and push and push until World War III starts, and then they're going to go hide in their bunkers and wait for the aftermath, for the final results. So it's a beautiful thing, man. All right, you see this chaos take place, despite all the agreements. Iran is trying to secure, so that way they don't have to have any more sanctions against them. But the Lord has already said, you know what, it's not gonna change anything, man. The movie has to go on, and this is basically the path we have to go through for our salvation to be evident in these last days through our Lord and Savior Mashiach Yahushai and the destruction of Edom. All right, you so-called Jewish folks, man, you can see what they do, so you can't deny it. The more you dig, the more you see them behind all the shenanigans. All right, so I got a quick precept. It's gonna be from the book of Jeremiah chapter 50. All right, Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 45. All right, Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 45. All right, so it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Kadash, that he had taken against Babylon. All right, that's America. All right, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. All right, so the Lord has set up America for a bad end, man, a terrible end. All right, destruction of America is at hand, and a lot of people just like to pretend that they don't see it, they don't. That's not true. But hey, it's the words of the Lord. You see it in due season. All right. Surely the list of the flock, the list of which flock, the list of the house of Edom. All right, the least nation of the house of Edom, Amalek, the so-called Jewish folk, the so-called Israelis. All right, surely the list of the flock shall draw them out. All right, and the so-called Turkish folks too. They got Amalek in their high positions too. All right, so it says, surely the list of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Yeah, so these so-called Jewish folks, man, they have a major role to play in the downfall of America and World War III, and they have to instigate, man. So don't be surprised if you have Amalek on the sides of Persians, the side of Persians, pretending to be Elam, all right. And the same thing with Russia, the same thing with China too, man, because they're trying to get the birthright back. So they will do whatever they can, man, to shake the powers of the world. And then verse 46 says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. And that's future prophecy, all right, about the whole world, reeling to and fro like a drunkard. And then it says the cry is heard among the nations, all right. So, all the merchants of the earth, they're going to weep daily because it's not going to be any more investments for them to make of America, man. All the profits and all the hustles and all the gains they've accumulated and acquired, it's just going to go down the drain. That's the end of their livelihood, all right? So I'll go ahead and play this clip.
Thank you for joining us. Tehran has condemned the U.S. seizure of 33 pro-Iranian media websites, calling it a breach of freedom of speech. The U.S. says the sites violate sanctions against Iran. This is a message greeting people trying to look at the Iranian English language press TV site. The channel has now changed its domain address so users can gain access. The U.S. Justice Department has accused media outlets connected to Iran's Revolutionary Guard of spreading disinformation. A Hamas-linked Palestinian website has also been blocked. Let's bring in our correspondent in Iran, Dorsa Jabari, who's live in Tehran. So, Dorsa, tell us more first about these Iranian news websites that have been targeted and the reaction from the Iranian authorities.
Well, this is the first time we're seeing such a large number of websites that have been pulled offline by the American government. Of course, they are using a local domain now to continue having their online presence, but it comes at a very critical time. Of course, the Iranians have said that their sites are legitimate news organizations within the country. They belong to various branches of state television. And we've also heard from the head of the Iranian mission to the United Nations, who has condemned the act by the U.S. government, calling it a freedom of speech issue, it's a censorship issue, and that Iran will pursue the matter through legal channels. We've also been hearing from the President Hassan Rouhani's chief of staff at the weekly cabinet meeting. Let's listen to some of what he had to say.
What the US did to Iranian websites was a breach of all principles of freedom of speech, which the United States is proud of. They restricted freedom of speech. We condemn this measure. We will use all our legal and international means to counter this wrong policy of the United States. It is not a constructive move at a time when nuclear talks are underway in Vienna.
As you say, Dorsa, this is coming at a critical time, a delicate time in U.S.-Iran relations when they've been trying to revive the 2015 nuclear deal. How might these U.S. moves affect that?
Well, it's certainly not going to help the situation. The sixth round of nuclear talks in Vienna wrapped up just a few days ago, and the Iranians are now deciding whether or not they will agree to the draft that's been brought together in Vienna. There is a special committee that's been formed with the various branches of government who are looking closely at the details of that agreement. We heard from the Iranian Foreign Minister, Mohammad Javad Zarif, who said that the text he's reviewed is the final one they have at the moment, following months of negotiations in Vienna since April. So the Iranians are in a position to make a decision now. And of course, the newly elected President Ebrahim Raisi has weighed in on the topic as well, saying that he will continue to support what is in the best interest of the Iranian nation. But we understand that the Iranians have to make a decision soon. And there is an understanding that these kinds of activities or behaviors by the United States government will not likely go down well in a very conservative various branches of government that we have at the moment, and it will just make the work of President Hassan Rouhani and his negotiating team much more difficult to convince those various factions to agree to this document that's been brought back to Tehran. It will most likely delay any kind of decision by the Iranians to reach an agreement, but we are waiting also to find out. There is an IAEA technical agreement.
Yeah, so all those agreements are not going to happen anyway, so it don't matter. Even let's see, Venezuela want to get a piece of the a piece of the peace, but it's not going to happen, all right, because of this elite. They have to turn the page of warfare on, man. They have to turn to that page of their plans for war. They have to kick it up, All right, so there is no time of peace, man. The time of peace is basically over, and and that's for these Edomites, okay? So very soon we're going to war, and the more you dig, man, you just see that it's just terrible. They've been planning this for a long time. You know how it is, man. Strong arming strategies, and that's how the elites do it, man. So to maintain control. So, Book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14 says that the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. Yeah, so these are preparations for World War III. All right, so whatever agreement they're trying to cement and iron out is not going to stick, because the Lord has already set it in the hearts of the beast to go ahead and stir up the plans for World War III, and it's going to be so terrible, because when you see it from above the atmosphere, when the Lord delivers us, you'll be surprised the damage that this destruction is going to have. And it has to happen. It's basically the downfall of Esau, the path to his elimination from off the face of the earth. And it's a bitter chapter that you have to deal with, man. All right. So another precept you have to look at is the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 12. So this talks about the agreement between all these treaties. It's not going to work. It's not going to stick. All right. So it says, and the sixth angel, right, Revelation chapter 16, verse 12, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Yeah, so wartime, wartime. All right, war is big business, and when you pay attention to the stock market, you understand that all prices, man, it's not really go any further down anymore, man. It has to keep going up, because the fight for control, it's not gonna be an easy fight. So they're gonna use every trick in the book to prop up all prices and hide inflation. All right. So these Edomites, man, they mean business when it comes to war, and they want to maintain their hedge over the whole earth, because they see that they're losing their grip. All right. So more chaos is coming upon the face of the earth, man. Because the truth, and a lie, they can't be together. All right. They can't dwell in the same tabernacle. All right. So let me get one final precept, and I'll wrap it up. So this is 1 John chapter 2, verse 21. I have not written unto you because you know not the truth. All right. So this is the word of the Apostle John to the church. All right. So it says, but because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Okay. And that is clear, right? It's as simple as ABC. So this is just the milk of the scriptures, man. The building blocks. All right. So the Lord has to set these things in motion, that He may reveal the Antichrist in these last days. All right. So that's the point there. I came. Abaratazar, we get delivered. Shalom.